Hey everyone, welcome back to Insights Into. Man, has it been a wild ride in politics these last few months, right? We've seen tariffs go on, then off, then maybe back on again. Remember that huge Republican tax bill that just barely squeezed through Congress? And let's not forget the aggressive immigration policies from the Trump administration, plus the Jeffrey Epstein story bubbling back up in the news. You might think all this chaos would have a clear impact on public opinion. But let's dive into a very interesting story.
So, what are people actually thinking about all this? Let's break it down. That big Republican tax bill. Well, studies show more people disapprove of it than support it. Folks largely believe it's set to benefit the wealthy and big corporations, likely increasing the national debt while potentially hurting those who need help most. When it comes to tariffs, the data's pretty clear. People disapprove of Trump's approach more than they approve. On immigration, it's a bit more nuanced. Americans generally support the idea of deporting people here illegally. That gets strong backing. But, and this is a big but, they're not thrilled with how the Trump administration is doing it. Many believe Trump has crossed a line, being too aggressive, especially by not giving people proper legal protections and sending them to countries like Sudan or El Salvador where they have no personal connections.
And what about the Department of Justice's investigation into the Jeffrey Epstein matter? Surveys reveal that voters, across the board, are seriously skeptical, believing that the department is holding back crucial information. And get this, about half of all voters say they have absolutely no confidence in the investigation itself. That's a huge red flag for public trust in a major institution.
But here's where things get really interesting, and frankly, a bit unexpected. Despite all these turbulent events and public unease over specific policies, Trump's holding a steady approval rate, identical to prior surveys. This tells us that even with all the noise, his political standing hasn't really shifted. And get this, he hasn't just weathered the storm. He's also seeing a huge boost from the economy. Recent survey found that a massive number of voters say the economy is in excellent or good shape.
But the most important and perhaps the most startling is that a large share of people are holding a negative view of the Democratic Party than the share who have a positive view. Folks, this party's brand is seriously tarnished. And it gets wilder. Even though Donald Trump is underwater on his handling of tariffs, guess what? Voters still trust the Republican Party on tariffs more than the Democratic Party. It's like this on almost every issue with one major exception: healthcare. Democrats still hold a lead there.
So, what does this all mean for the upcoming elections? Well, Congress is on recess now, and we're likely to see a repeat of what happened in the spring. Voters showing up in big numbers at town halls, voicing their frustrations. Many might look at that anger and think it's a clear path for Democrats to win big. Just like we saw 8 years ago when they picked up around 40 House seats and took back control. Now, it's still early, but this tells about the challenges both parties face, especially the Democratic Party. When people were asked if they consider themselves a Democrat or a Republican, more people now call themselves Republicans. Back in 2017, it was the opposite, with Democrats leading. This year, Republicans are heading into the elections on a much flatter playing field. When asked which party they'd vote for if the congressional election were held today, voters sided with the Democratic Party. That's a good sign for Democrats, and it's meaningful. But again, in 2017, at this same point, Democrats were ahead. A lot can still change before the next election. Views on the Republican tax bill could shift, and those tariffs, they'll either impact inflation or they won't. But this survey lays out some really important facts about the current state of play, the advantages and disadvantages each party is carrying into the midterms. And these numbers are going to guide how both parties spend billions of dollars trying to shape voter views before Election Day.
That wraps up another insightful journey. Thanks for watching. We'd love to hear your thoughts on today's topic, so be sure to share your insights in the comments below. If you find this video insightful, please subscribe to the channel to stay informed, inspired, and on top of what's happening today. Until next time, stay curious, and we'll catch you in the next insightful video.